All right, so this is a 14 unit that I was interested in pursuing, and wow, little bit of deferred maintenance. Um, I was really disappointed to see the condition of this building. This is the back of a 10plex part of the house, but I'll show you the inside in just a little bit. But here's a little bit of a backstory. So I look at a lot of properties. I'm interested in buying more rentals, of course, like I've said in just about every video that I've done. And this particular one caught my eye because the numbers looked pretty promising. This was going to be the unicorn property, the one that all investors want to do. It's a free property if you do it right. Now that sounds weird to say that you can get a property for free. It's also called an infinite return property, where your cash on cash returns is an infinite number, and that's because you get all of your money back when the project is up and stabilized. So let me kind of show you real quick before I show you how trashed this property is. Let's say you bought a property like this for 600,000, and then you put something like 400,000 into it for a total of 1 million. If that property is then worth say $2 million, you've gained $1 million in equity. But you can also refinance or pull cash out. Let's say you do a loan for the 1 million at a 50% loan to value, and you basically get all of your money back. You're then sitting on a $2 million property with a $1 million loan, which means you're now owning the property for free. It's also, if this property after being rented produces a cash flow, then let's say, it produces $20,000 a year in positive cash flow, that return is an infinite return because your principal, your money into it is zero. Now, granted, you did buy or borrow $1 million, but that's leveraged against that property. And it essentially, if you went in cash or had private lenders to get into it, when you take this loan out, everybody gets all of their money back. So you're sitting here with the title to a property that's got $1 million in equity, $20,000 in cash flow. Everybody's cash input is now at zero because they got all of their principal back when you did the refinance. So any amount of cash flow is an infinite return. That's like, it's what everybody dreams of. So let's kind of look at this property. I'll run the tape and then just kind of talk to you. This is a 14 unit, and it's 10 units in the back, 5 stacked on 5, and then there's a fourplex that I'm walking into right here. When I first stepped into this door, my foot sank about 2 inches down because that's rotten underneath there. The fourplex is all studio units. So they're just, not really a bedroom. It's just a studio unit. You can see a huge hole in the floor there. And then back behind that on the left looks like the bathroom. And then on the right is the kitchen. And then on the far right, here's looking down. I mean, that's dirt right there. And I had to kind of straddle the joists in order to even get further into the bathroom to just kind of see that. So I was afraid I was going to fall through the floor. My main concern with this building, I saw that there was, mold in there. You'll see that there's moisture issues and stuff like that, but I don't know that it's actually on a foundation. It looks like maybe they just built this thing by sticking some studs on the dirt, and look at that mold. And just kind of built a 4-unit. Yeah, gross. On the dirt. So still not a deal breaker completely, because one of the units in the fourplex is rented, and 9 out of the 10 in the 10plex part of this is rented. And so my thought was, you can get the one dude out of the fourplex, and then you could do a complete gut job while you're still generating income from the 9 other units. So that was kind of my big plan going into this, why the numbers, looked really well. Here's a hole in the roof. This has a flat roof. There's sheetrock on the ground. That is green shag carpet. At least it has a smoke detector. Green shag carpet, wood paneling. The agent said that these units, the 3 units that are vacant in the fourplex, probably haven't been occupied in like 10 years. That toilet is like just laying there. It's pretty gross. So, anyways, like going through and gutting this, building out, new siding, new roof, everything new in the units, while still generating cash flow from the other building, was something that I think could be doable, because 9 out of the 10 units could still service any debt that you would need to put in, to make the initial acquisition. Otherwise, you got to come in with cash, and then kind of take your chances. I just don't have that kind of cash sitting around to come in all cash plus all of the cash that's going to need for the renovation. So, and then as you'll see a little bit later, I'm looking at I'm just kind of documenting all this stuff. That's a wall air conditioning unit. Just trying to document the condition of the flooring and stuff like that. I'm nervous walking in this because it's like just squeaking and doesn't feel super solid. I don't know why there's still mattresses in this place, and you'll see later on that there's a stack of mattresses in another unit. There's a window that's like busted out right here and boarded up. So, but anyways, like it seems doable at this stage of the game, as I'm walking through here, and kind of along the similar lines that I gave you in the little sketch here. If you could pick this up for 600, that's daylight that you can see through the ceiling there. Pick it up for 600, put 400 into it, all the while trying to keep as many tenants in it as possible while you're renovating. And then as over time, over 2-3 years, updating each of the units. There's one vacant unit in the 10-plex that I thought, okay, that'll be my starting point for the 10-plex. We can get that one all updated and improved, and then get somebody in there at a higher market rate. The market rate for the 10 units are 1-bedroom units, and then it crashed on me. Hang on. The 10 units are 1-bedroom units, and the fourplex is just studios. So the going rate for like the 1-bedroom units is about maybe $850 or $900 in the area. And then the studios would be maybe $750. They're currently rented for much lower than that. I think like $680 and $500. And so, that would be, you could probably just update that one unit in the 10-plex and then maybe rent it out for like 900 on the high end. And then, hopefully that you could do that to one of the tenants that's already there. Then they vacate, you renovate their unit, and so on and so on. And then kind of what I was suggesting earlier in that sketching of the numbers is, this value is based, when you do commercial properties, it's based on an income approach, not a regular, like a comparative approach like you get on residential property. So let me actually kind of explain a little bit about that, because there's a whole lot of stuff that has to happen when you put $1 million into it for it to be 2 million. If you're thinking of a residential real estate, you're like, Dave, nobody's going to be able to buy a $2 million property, put a little bit of stuff in it, buy it for 600, put a little bit of stuff in it and make it worth 2 million. That's getting really, really hard to do. And so it's almost impossible to buy something whose after repair value is $2 million for 600,000 unless you're having to put a ton of money into it. But real estate like this in commercial or multifamily, you're using a income approach when you determine the value. So for example, if this property is 600,000 and it's producing, let's say, $30,000 of net operating income each year, and the area is supporting a 5% cap rate, this property is worth 600,000. If you can raise the net operating income by raising all of the rates. Now, obviously, that just doesn't happen overnight. You have to make the place worth more to a tenant. Right now, it's under market value with the amount of rent. Obviously, you can see the condition it's in. But if you make it really nice, then you can make each unit worth, $900 or more when you do the renovation. So if you can raise your net operating income to 100,000 and keep the same 5% cap rate, you've made that property worth 2 million. This is supposed to be 600,000 and now it's worth 2 million. If you want, cap rate gets to be confusing. It took me a while to really understand it, but it's essentially, if you work it backwards, if you want your $2 million investment to yield a 5% return, that means it needs to net 100,000. And same with 600,000 at a 5% return is $30,000 a year. So that's kind of what an investor that's got money to put into the market, he could put it into stocks, bonds, other assets. And so if he's looking to make a 5% return, or if the going rate is that people are competing to buy multifamily, and so they're willing to allow it go for a 5% return, then something that generates 100,000 is worth 2 million in that market. So getting from here to here is different than taking a residential property, putting granite countertops in it and trying to make $1.4 million improvement on it. It doesn't work like that, but it doesn't take that much to get this $30,000 net operating income to 100K. And that's because I discovered in this area, there's a housing authority that kind of dictates what they're willing to pay for low income housing people that qualify. And a 1-bedroom, the going rate is like $1,180, and a studio, the going rate is like 1,000, I think it was 60. So 10 1-bedrooms is 11,800, and then you're looking at another 4 plus 4,200. So it's going to generate like over $25,000 a month. Multiply that by 12 months, subtract all of your expenses, and it's very possible to get this as a $100,000 property. So let's continue with the tour as I continue to talk. We're still in the studio. This is the only good thing that I saw in the entire property was a fairly new gas water heater, but the place smelt like gas, so I think it was leaking. But that looks like the newest thing in the building, in both buildings, quite honestly. This particular unit looks like they were using it to store all of their paint buckets. There's mattresses. There's 3 vacuum cleaners in here. I don't know why. So this was like the storehouse for the maintenance that they were doing on the property, but it looks like they haven't done maintenance on the property in 10 years, and I'm not exaggerating. Like you saw in the clip in the initial, the back side of that brick building looks like it hasn't been touched. There's holes going in around the windows. There's dry rot. There's mold. There was no power in this bathroom. I'm trying to turn the light switch on here that you can't see, so I had to turn the flashlight on my phone. There's just junk here. Old sink, toilet. There's not even a shower really there anymore. There's the ceiling is collapsed. There's a window that's broken behind there. So this was unit 3 of the 4 in the fourplex. And then as we head out, we'll go to this brick building. Now, this is the part that kind of made this the deal breaker for me. That walkway that you're seeing there is all rusted out, and the metal part is rusted out, and then those fascia boards are not secured very well. The joists that are connected to them are just toe-nailed in, and there's gaps in them. When you go up the stairs here, there's like it's rusted through. I don't know where that's secured in behind the brick, if it's only like a 4-foot long 2x12 or 2x6 or whatever. See how that's rusted out here. Everything is rusted. And then I'm going to go and try and stand on this decking after looking at the underneath, and it's really sketch. There's 4 out of the 5 units on this top floor are rented out, and people have to walk this every day. That's all shady, rusted, creaking, rotten, anything and everything you could think of. I was I'm not usually afraid when I tour homes, but I was afraid to walk up on this decking. And so that presented another problem. If we get permits, here's the 4 unit we're looking at. If we get permits to redo this and I'm trying to keep income going on this 10 unit, that place is going to get condemned. There's no way people should be walking up that stairs. And so the whole thing would get shut down. Everybody would have to get evicted. A little bit of settling cracks, crashed again. So, you know, they would have to evict everybody out, and I would have to just shut the whole thing down, which is still doable. But at that point, if you're not buying an income producing property, then why aren't you just building new construction and starting from scratch? I could go buy some dirt and then build brand new, and everything would be brand new. If I'm not going to generate an income while I'm doing it, then I might as well just do a new construction loan. At least your loan payments are kind of tiered. As you get more money out into the deal, your payments kind of grow as your balance grows. But to take a project like this on and have everything potentially get shut down, I'm not sure if the fourplex is on a foundation. It might be a tear down. And then if we do any kind of permitting and stuff like that while we're trying to fix that, and they take a look at that 10plex where you have to at least shut down the top 5 at all at the same time to put a new walkway and stuff in there, then that's a problem as well. So this thing quickly went from me having, $1 million in equity and infinite cash flow and a free 14 unit to me just totally passing on this and wondering how people can even live there. That makes me feel like maybe the tenants that are there, don't ask questions, and we won't ask questions. So maybe they're not on the up and up, because living in conditions like that, I don't understand it. So that makes me nervous, what type of tenant you've got in there. If they're willing to live in squalor and not say anything, then, what is it that they're into that makes it kind of a hush hush type of relationship? So, yeah, I'm still looking. I look at deals like this, on paper every day, and then occasionally the numbers work well enough that I go take a look at it in person. And then this was quite the shocker to see the condition of this building. So if this is something that you want me to do more walkthroughs, let me know in the comment section below. I think that videos I've done in the past where people see me going through homes do a little bit better than me just talking or running numbers or looking at charts. So if that's something you want to see, let me know in the comments or give a like to the video, and I'll do more of that. Until next time, thanks a lot for watching.